Let's talk about Webflow. Webflow is a fantastic tool when it comes to an animated website. If you are looking for a visually appealing website, Webflow is just fantastic. So in today's conversation, I want to ask a question, and I'll also answer. Is Webflow the best e-commerce platform? By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a wonderful opportunity to have you here and to have this discussion with you. And what I want to do first, I want to really start with an overview. So we are all on the same page. We really understand what we are talking about. So Webflow is a website building platform that lets you create your own website or online store. It is basically cloud-based. In other words, it's a SaaS design. So it's software as a service that runs in a web browser, and you pay a monthly or yearly subscription to use it. Kind of similar to Shopify, to BigCommerce, to Wix. Okay, so you can use Webflow in two ways: by designing and hosting your website on Webflow and using the Webflow editor to update it, or by designing a site with the platform, but then exporting it. You need to export the site's code and hosting it on your own server space. Based on our experience, most users we have found opt for the first method. In other words, websites built with Webflow are more reliable when they are hosted on Webflow's own servers, okay, and they are easier to update too because you get access to a content management system. So, and the CMS is kind of solid on the Webflow's part of things, and you also have a style editor, neither of which are available in the self-hosted version. Okay, so users who choose the second option, exporting Webflow websites to be hosted elsewhere, tend to be professional web developers and web design agencies that are comfortable with updating and editing websites via coding, instead of using content management system to do so. Okay, and Webflow provides you with a large selection of customizable templates that can be edited to match your brand and services, and it contains many features that allow you to create a very original and visually impressive website. Okay, very, very important to notice that. And so Webflow is kind of cool for solopreneurs, small business owners, freelance web designers, web design agencies, large brands and tech agencies. You have a large constellation of folks who love Webflow. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. I'm having a conversation with you today about Webflow. This is an in-depth review. I'm trying to really go as granular as possible on Webflow to give you all the info that you need to have so you can make a right decision. Now, let's quickly talk about the pros and cons of Webflow so we have a clearer idea of what we're speaking about. Okay, so what are the pros of using Webflow? Well, you can use Webflow to create unique, highly customized, and impactful designs. I mean, I'm talking about lots of customization options are available, visually appealing, very like all the animations, you have a large selection of high quality, free and premium templates. I'm talking about more than 1,500 templates. Webflow sites are fully responsive and display nicely across all device types from tablets all the way to smartphones. There is an enormous range of typefaces available out of the box in Webflow. And Webflow's Logic tool allows you to make the most of email submissions and the workflow of your organization. Webflow's Interactions JavaScript tool is easy to use and can help you produce extremely impressive page load, very fast, okay, scroll-based and mouse hover website animations. This tool also has a good autosave, backup, and version history features that are built into the platform. So they are built in. Okay, there is a wealth of high-quality learning materials available for the platform via the Webflow University resource. And by the way, even if you're not interested in using Webflow, you wanted to check out the Webflow University feature. It's just fantastic. It is really rich. It is really broad. We love the depth and breadth of that resource. Capturing custom data and images for product customization purposes is straightforward. And Webflow actually provides an automatic sales tax calculation feature for the US, Canada, the EU, and Australia. It's very easy to build, style, and reuse. Okay, and it gives you a comprehensive set of SEO options. What about the cons here? The pricing structure is very confusing. Webflow needs to work on that. Webflow, if you are listening to us right now, your pricing is not transparent. It's not transparent. So you got to really work on that. The learning curve is pretty steep by comparison to other website building tools like Shopify and Wix, or even Squarespace for that matter. Traffic limits are applied to the plans in Webflow. This could be a problem also. So the highest number of visitors you have on a Webflow site without having to negotiate a bespoke deal is 300,000. Okay, which is really low. If you are really trying to scale, this could be a problem. Webflow does not let you switch templates, kind of similar to Squarespace or Wix for that matter. There is no Webflow mobile app for editing your website on the go. The range of ready-made image galleries on offer is very limited compared to many other platforms. And if you are a high output blogger, or you need to create a lot of dynamic content, the limits that Webflow places on the number of CMS items could prove problematic. Okay, there is actually no Yoast style SEO plugin for Webflow right now as of the date of this show. And users based in the European Union may encounter GDPR headaches if they store user data on Webflow. Okay, so you do have a constellation of problems here. Let's talk about pricing. Now you can see on the screen the pricing for Webflow as of the date of this show, as I said before. Not very transparent, not very easy to understand. Webflow pricing is confusing. I mean, we said this before, but this is because with Webflow, you have to deal with three sets of plans. You have the site plans, you have the e-commerce plans, and you have the workspace plans. Let's first talk about the e-commerce and site plans. So those two are the easiest to understand because they work in a similar way to those offered by well-known online website builders like Wix and Shopify. So you can see the equivalency. You can actually compare and contrast. It's very easy. In other words, with this plans, you pay a monthly fee, okay? And what happens here is that you get all the key things you need to build a website or store with hosting, CMS, content management system, and the option to match your site to a custom domain. So that's pretty easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, not a problem. Now, in the case of the e-commerce plans, you also get tools for selling products online. The thing here is that, in terms of the differences between site plans, this revolve around whether or not you want access to a CMS, how many editable CMS items you need to on your site, the number of visitors you have, storage space, the number of people who can edit your site. As far as e-commerce plans, the main differences between those involves the number of products you sell. So, you have 500 on standard, you have 5,000 on plus, and you have 15,000 on advanced. You also have the transaction fees, and you have the staff accounts. So the standard plans lets you have 3 users, while the plus plan comes with 10 users, and the advanced plans lets you have up to 15. Now, let's talk about the workspace plan. Now, while the site and e-commerce plans can be used by individuals who simply want to build a website themselves, workspace plans are more geared toward professional web designers and web design agencies. So what happens here is that Webflow will let you manage multiple sites, those plans and build them in collaboration with multiple users. Okay, significantly, the workspace plans also let you export your site code. This is quite essential because it means that if you like, you can simply upload this code to your own server or hand it over to a developer to enhance. If you do this, however, you won't be able to use the Webflow content management system to edit your site when it's live. You are able to export a static design only. So if you're comfortable with that configuration, then it's not a problem. Let's talk about the templates. So the Webflow templates. Now, what about the number of templates? Now, you can design a site from scratch in Webflow, but if you rather use the templates and make it your own, you can choose from over 1,500 to 2,000 in the Webflow template library, okay? And out of those 2,047 are free. And so you can really choose whatever works for you. Now, in terms of quality, now, first of all, in terms of searching, you can search for templates based on industry, language, style, and design features. So finding a suitable one for your project is pretty straightforward. Okay. Now, what about the quality of templates? Now, Webflow templates are presented in various categories. For example, portfolios, designs, blogs, medical, and e-commerce. The templates are of a very high quality. They are modern and aesthetically pleasing. They're kind of similar to Squarespace, if you were to ask us. And they include pre-built elements like data capture. So you have, sorry about that. So you have a data capture forms, you have background videos, you have online store pages, just fantastic. And all of this, guess what? They are fully customizable. Okay, so this is really important to really think about it. And many templates make use of Webflow's custom animation feature, Webflow interactions, which allows designers to actually create unique scroll effects, zoom effects, hover effects, and page transitions that kick in when visitors interact with your web pages in various ways. So if you really want to go through the templates, it's just fantastic. I mean, the sleekness of those effects is extraordinary. They make websites built with Webflow stand out from those created with Squarespace, Shopify, and other popular website builders. Okay. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's conversation. We're having a quickie about Webflow. I'm giving you an in-depth Webflow review, so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into when you decide to choose Webflow. Now, what about the availability of typefaces? Fantastic. I mean, you have like more than 20,000 typefaces from Adobe fonts on your site. You can use a Google like more than 1,500 fonts. Okay. So the wide range of fonts also makes it easy to adhere to any general brand guidelines you may be using. So this is kind of cool. Okay. Now the behavior of templates on mobile is fantastic because all of Webflow templates are fully responsible. They're fully responsive. This is kind of cool, which means that they'll automatically resize themselves to suit the device they're being viewed on, whether it is a tablet, mobile, or a desktop computer. So this is kind of cool to kind of have. And switching templates to work in Webflow, that's the only problem. Many popular website builders allow you to switch from one template to another. Now, this is not the case with Webflow. Once you have chosen a Webflow template, you are stuck with it. So be very careful when you choose a Webflow template. This means that you will need to take your time and evaluate the design and features of the templates in Webflow's library carefully before committing to one, because once you're committed, you are committed. Let's talk about CMS. So the content management system and interface on Webflow. This is an important element to take into account. What I want to say here is that whether you are building a template or building your site from scratch, you'll need to get to grips with Webflow's designer interface. And this is not only where you'll design and edit your website, but also where you will access most back-end controls for it too. Okay. And now, unlike many other popular website builders like Shopify, Wix, BigCommerce, and Squarespace, it's not really a case of setting up a Webflow account and jumping straight into designing your site. It's a lot more than that. This is because Webflow's interface is not really, like technically, a drag and drop builder. And unless you have a good understanding of the box model of web design, you will encounter a relatively steep learning curve in Webflow. Now, if you have some familiarity with the basic principles, let's say, of HTML code and cascading style sheet CSS, you'll be up and running in a relatively short amount of time. But if these are new to you, you will definitely need to spend some time following the video tutorials and articles in the Webflow University in order to get up to speed with designing in Webflow. Okay, so this is something you need to really think about. So if you're looking for a site builder that allows you to build a website or store with a minimum of effort and fuss, it's just, I can see that Webflow is not the best choice for you. Now, if you want, let's say, a highly customized site and you want to get access to some very powerful and unique design functionality, it's worth persevering. Okay, so the Webflow designers is kind of cool. This is really cool here. You have access to all the latest. Okay, whether it is on desktop, tablets, mobile, or mobile portrait, you have access to a lot of functionalities. Okay, and you are able to constantly modify things. You are able to import and export content and products, not a problem. Images and galleries, this is possible. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that the bottom line here is that you do have the opportunity to modify, to update, to upload, to import, to export various pieces of content in Webflow. The only thing I need to say here is that when it comes to images and galleries, unlike Squarespace, Shopify, and many other website builders, Webflow does not provide any features for editing or enhancing your images. You have to import your image the way you want them to look. So this could be problematic or it could be an opportunity. It depends on you. What about, let's just go talk about Webflow interactions. So a unique selling point of Webflow is the way it lets you create advanced animations across every aspect of your site via its Webflow interaction feature. So Webflow interactions allow you to create complex JavaScript animations in your site without needing to write or even understand JavaScript. You will find controls for building these animations in the right side of the Webflow designer, and there are around 20 preset animation types, for example, fade, shrink, spin, and jiggle to get you started. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So this is really a big elements that we love with Webflow here. And so the thing you need to also understand is that Webflow is kind of cool when it comes to blogging. You can use it for blogging, but it's not as strong at WordPress, for example. I mean, Webflow is not your typical blogging tool. But if you want to use it for blogging, yeah, why not? That's not a problem. I mean, if blogging is part of your strategy to draw traffic organically to your website and actually use that traffic, parlay that traffic into something else, maybe sort of beef up your sales funnel strategy, then this is kind of cool. This is definitely fine. Okay, and so there are a lot of pros of blogging in Webflow. You can make your blog post look superb thanks to Webflow styling and design capabilities. Webflow has about 60 blog templates available, mostly paid for, however. There are a lot. Webflow enables you to use categories and tags. Okay, so this is kind of cool. You do have, there's an RSS feed in Webflow. And so the only thing is the Webflow page limits are restrictive. And when you edit, like when you edit previously published articles in Webflow, you can't edit it. It's published date. So this is something that really you have to think about, and there's no Yoast integration for Webflow. So this could be problematic. And in terms of overall, this is really a great tool. I want to quickly talk to you about e-commerce. Okay, so what is what are the e-commerce features in Webflow? What are the core? Because you have a lot of e-commerce features, but let's go to the core, the primary ones. Okay, now Webflow gives you the ability to accept credit card payments via Stripe and PayPal, to sell digital and physical products, to manually define rules for shipping rates and regions, to fully customize the visual appearance of your checkout page, to calculate sales tax automatically for merchants that are based in the US, Canada, EU, and Australia. Okay, and apply your brand design to receipt and emails to your customers. So this is kind of cool. And the thing here is that, in our view, Webflow can actually improve certain things. Why? Because you can only make use of 2 payment gateways. Think about it. Stripe and PayPal, that's it. I mean, the slim choice compares poorly to the large number of payment gateways available in dedicated e-commerce platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce, right? If you need to take payments in physical locations, retail outlets, pop-up stores, you won't be able to use Webflow as a point-of-sale solution. There is no integrated kit such as card readers or receipt printers available for Webflow, and it doesn't provide you with a way to sync your online and offline sales data. So you have no way to know what's going on with your inventory. And Webflow does not have a built-in abandoned cart recovery tool either, and there are no out-of-the-box multilingual or multi-currency features in Webflow. The dropshipping options are fairly limited, and you can't host digital products on Webflow. So the platform also doesn't cater adequately for the EU's VAT mouse rules on selling digital products. So you can see that you do have some limitations there, okay? So now there are some e-commerce limits to watch out for. Webflow differs from many e-commerce platforms in its application of product limits. In Webflow, you can only sell 500 products, 5,000 products, and 15,000 products on its standard, plus, and advanced e-commerce plans, respectively. In terms of transaction fees, those are things you need to watch out for too, because they can actually eat into your profits, because you will encounter a 2% transaction fee on every sale. Okay, and on top of that, you might have other charges too, depending on the plan that you have. But yeah, it's one of those things you really have to have a clear idea about. I want to quickly talk to you about some extras here. Okay, now what we love about Webflow is that you do have some integrations with other apps. Those are really cool. We love that a lot because this really gives you some flexibility here. So you have Webflow Zapier integration. So you have like using Zapier, you are able to create customized, personalized integrations for a wide range of popular cloud services, including Google Sheets. You have Gmail, you have Slack, you have Airtable, you have Intercom also. Okay, so this is kind of cool. In terms of forms and data capture, Webflow is kind of cool also because it allows you to build forms. So there are two pre-built layouts for contact forms and newsletter sign-up boxes available, and both are fully customizable. So this is kind of interesting because from a sales funnel strategy, having the ability to capture data at that level is kind of cool. It's kind of good. And you also can have one thing I want to mention also in terms of extra. You are able to use conditional logic, okay, with the Webflow forms. So this actually gives you an additional strategy when it comes to moving forward real fast. Okay, so you can use conditional logic with Webflow forms. You can you have actually file uploads via forms also, and so you also have just make sure that you pay attention to GDPR, because right now Webflow is kind of cool when it comes to GDPR, but there are some places where the tool is a little deficient. So just make sure for your specific industry that you are covered in Webflow. And one thing I also need to say here is that Webflow is great for SEO. So there's not a problem. You can edit page titles, URL, meta descriptions. You can add alt tags to images. You can create 301 redirects. You can edit schema markup. You can edit your robots.txt file, and you can design fully responsive pages. Not a problem. Okay, so just make sure that again your page is like your page loads really fast. Okay. And does Webflow support AMP pages? So when we talk about AMP pages, those are accelerated mobile pages. So this is actually a Google-backed project which aims to speed up the delivery of content to mobile devices by using stripped-down code known as AMP HTML. And many website builders now support AMP to varying extents. You have Squarespace, you have Wix, you have Shopify being key example, but not Webflow, unfortunately. Okay, so this is something that Webflow has to work on. We believe they're working on it. So here is a verdict that we need to really talk about. So is Webflow for you? Our short answer is yes. Webflow is definitely for you. And but the thing here is that you have to actually ask yourself what kind of projects you want to run through Webflow, and what kind of design, what kind of web design capabilities or acumen do you have from the get-go? Are you a newbie, or are you just someone who has experience in the field? Because Webflow, you need to have some experience with JavaScript. You need to have some basic experience. If not, you're going to suffer like big time. You're going to suffer big time. Okay, so the thing here is that Webflow is a well-featured site builder that allows individuals, that allows small businesses to create original looking website with a lot of functionality. Although the platform has a steeper learning curve than several of its competitors, it's possible for a beginner to master the platform in a relatively short amount of time, thanks to Webflow's excellent educational and support materials. Okay, so the platform, in our view, is particularly strong when it comes to creative visuals and interactive design features. And the levels of customization that can be achieved through the Webflow designer make it an appealing choice for individuals and brands looking to stand out through novel layouts and impressive animations. So the bottom line here is what? It means that whether you are building a portfolio, blog, or online store, Webflow's design capabilities allow you to create fully responsive sites that avoid a cookie cutter template appearance. Okay. And now on the negative side, Webflow's e-commerce features are not as developed as those of dedicated online store builders, and significantly contain limitations around annual sales and the number of products you can sell on your store. So this makes the platform a poor choice for merchants with high sales volume and and very large product catalog. So another key negative that I need to tell you is that there are issues when it comes to their servers in the server locations, because Webflow hosts data outside of the EU. So you may actually file foul of GDPR rule if you capture user data onto them. Okay, so be very careful about that. But overall, this is a great player that you should consider, and just fantastic. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation about Webflow, I gave you an in-depth review of Webflow, give you the overview, the pricing, the templates, the CMS, the e-commerce, the extras, and the verdict. Thank you. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.